Hello guys. So in this lecture video, we will be discussing debt restructuring. Let's start our discussion by answering the question, what is debt restructuring? So ano nga ba itong debt restructuring? Debt restructuring is when a borrower and a lender agree to renegotiate the terms of a loan to make it easier for the borrower to repay. So pag sinabi nating debt restructuring, this is also known as debt renegotiation. Usually kasi, kaya pumapasok ang mga borrowers sa mga debt restructuring because of financial difficulties or cash flow problems. So for example, ngayong taon, magmamature na yung isa nilang utang. Sabi natin worth 1 million. Tapos, ngayong taon din, nagkakaroon din siya ng cash flow problems. So, based on assessment, malaki-laki yung chance na magde-default siya doon sa magmamature na utang. So, para maiwasan na mag-default itong si company, kakausapin niya si creditor and makikipag-renegotiate. So, sasabihin niya kay creditor, creditor, medyo nagkakaroon kasi ng problema ang kumpanya eh. Nagkakaroon ng problema when it comes to cash flows. Medyo late magbayad yung mga customers ko ngayon. So baka naman pwede nating i-renegotiate, no? Or ibahin yung terms ng loan. Example, instead na bayaran kita in cash sa maturity date, baka naman pwedeng uh, lupa ko na lang or building or issuehan kita ng shares ko. 'Di ba? So yun yung mga typical na examples ng ating debt restructuring. Okay? So bakit pumapasok sa mga debt restructuring si borrower? Para as much as possible na maiwasan yung mag-default doon, mag-default siya sa pagbabayad ng loan. 'Di ba? Kasi pag once nagkaroon ka ng loan defaults, nasa track record mo na agad yan. Nasa credit standing mo na agad yan. So nakakaapekto yan sa credit standing mo. Okay? Eh bakit naman si creditor pumapayag sa mga debt restructuring? Kasi like I said earlier, pumapasok sa mga debt restructuring agreement si borrower because of financial problems. So because of that fact, alam ni creditor na may chances na hindi niya mare-recover ng buo yung pinahiram niya dito sa borrower na to. So, as much as possible, kaya pumapasok siya or nag-a-agree siya sa mga debt restructuring agreements, gusto niyang i-maximize yung recoverable amount niya. Nagkakaintindihan? So, that is the basic concept of debt restructuring. Alright? Next. We have three modes of debt restructuring for accounting purposes. So what are those? Number one, asset swap. Second, equity swap. And the third one is the modification of terms. So ganito ang gagawin natin, ano? So for each of these mode, magfo-focus tayo tig-isa dito. So i-discuss muna natin yung mga important concepts surrounding that mode. Then we will be answering an illustrative case in order to have a better appreciation of the concepts involved. Okay? So ganun tayo for each mode of debt restructuring. Okay? Sige. Next. Sir, ano ba usually ang tinatanong pagdating sa debt restructuring? Yung usual question na may encounter natin dito ay, how much is the gain or loss on debt restructuring or extinguishment? So usually yan ang may encounter nyo na tanong sa debt restructuring. Alright? Sige. Now, so kung titignan nyo si gain or loss, saan natin yan nire-report? Answer, we are going to report your gain or loss on debt restructuring in our profit or loss. Okay? Yan. So palaging tatandaan, gain or loss on debt restructuring are reported in profit or loss. Alright? So focus muna tayo sa asset swap. So ano ba tong asset swap na mode of debt restructuring. Asset swap involves transferring of non-cash assets. So pag asset swap tayo, class, gumagamit tayo dito ng non-cash assets para pambayad sa utang. So ano ba mga typical examples ng non-cash assets? Land, building, inventories, etc. Okay? So these are assets other than cash. Okay? So, paano tayo magko-compute ng gain or loss on debt restructuring under asset swap? Our formula is by comparing the CV of the liability to the CV of the asset transferred. So palaging tatandaan sa asset swap, parehong CVs or carrying values lang ang i-compare nyo para makuha natin kung may gain or loss on debt restructuring tayo. Okay? Sir, how do we determine the CV of the liability and the CV of the asset? Okay. So, CV of liability, this is equal to the sum of the principal amount and accrued interest kung meron. Okay? So, i-add mo sa principal amount yung accrued interest ng liability kung meron. Okay? Next, the carrying amount of the asset is simply the value recorded in the books of the company. Okay? So tatandaan nyo, yung CV ng asset ay yan yung value ng asset sa libro ni company. Okay? So, how do we determine kung meron tayong gain or meron tayong loss? Magkakaroon po tayo dito ng gain kapag mas mataas ang CV ng liability kesa sa CV nung asset. Okay? So, bakit tayo nagkakaroon ng gain pag mas mataas yung CV ng liability? Oh, for example, ang utang mo 100, di ba? Tapos, yung CV ng asset na ibibigay mo kay creditor ay 80 pesos lang. Imagine niyo, utang mong 100, mababayaran mo ng buo basta ibigay mo lang itong asset na may CV na 80 pesos. Di ba panalo ka na doon? Di ba? Panalo ka eh. Kasi kailangan mo lang mag-give up ng 80 pesos para bayaran yung utang mong 100 pesos. Nagkakaintindihan? That's why nagre-result sa gain kapag mas mataas yung CV ng liability. Okay? Then on the other hand naman, magkakaroon tayo dito ng loss kapag mas mataas naman yung value ng asset or yung CV ng asset. Okay? Yan. Now, usually, yung mga gain restructuring na yan, nagre-result sa mga gain, no? Ang pinaka close sa realidad is nagre-result sa gain yung debt restructuring natin. Okay? Kasi 'di ba, sabi natin kanina, yung mga pumapasok sa debt restructuring ay yung mga borrowers na nagkakaroon ng financial problems. So, they are looking for ways na favorable para sa kanila. They are looking for favorable options. 'Di ba? That's why kapag nakitaan nila na favorable para sa kanila ito, itutuloy nila 'yan, no? Itutuloy nila yung renegotiation. Okay? Pero kung nalalaman nilang talo pala sila rito, edi magbayad na lang sila ng cash kung ganun. Nagkakaintindihan tayo? 'Di ba? Do you get my point? Pag nakikita niyang lugi siya dito sa asset swap, might as well magbayad na lang siya ng cash. 'Di ba? Yan. So, in reality, usually nagre-result tayo sa gain on debt restructuring. Okay? Yan. So, ito po yung mga concepts natin for asset swap. Oh, apply natin. So, this is your illustrative problem for asset swap. So, Funko Company is indebted to Pop Company under a 10 million 12% 3-year note dated December 31, 2021. Because of Funko's financial difficulties developing in 2024, Funko Company owed accrued interest of 1.2 million on the note on December 31, 2024. Under a debt restructuring, on December 31, Pop Company agreed to settle the note and accrued interest for a tract of land having a fair value of 9 million and carrying amount of 7.2 million. So ang tanong dito, what amount should be reported as gain on extinguishment of liability? So to answer that question, you simply have to compare the CV of the liability versus the CV of asset, which in this case, land. Okay? Oh, how much is the CV of the liability? So meron tayong principal amount na 10 million and accrued interest na 1.2 million. So your CV of liability is equal to 10 plus 1.2, that would be 11.2 million. Next, how much is the CV of the land? Answer, 7.2 million. Yan. So paki-ignore yung ating fair value ng land. Hindi natin yan gagamitin sa computations. Oh, the CV of the liability is 11.2 million while the CV of land is 7.2 million. Is there a gain or a loss? Answer, since mas mataas yung CV ng liability, then this is favorable to the borrower or to the debtor. So there is a gain on debt extinguishment amounting to 4 million. Bali, ang sagot natin for this illustrative case, 4 million tayo. Okay? Yan. So this is the final answer. Next, how do we journalize the debt restructuring? Debit, note payable. So that's 10 million. Debit, interest payable, 1.2 million. Credit land, equal to its CV, 7.2 million. And credit gain on extinguishment amounting to 4 million. Okay? So that's your asset swap. Next, second mode, your equity swap. Ayan. So ano naman tong equity swap? Anong kinaiba niya sa asset swap? Pag sinabing equity swap, this involves issuance of shares. So, doon sa asset swap, 'di ba ang tina-transfer natin ay non-cash assets. Pagdating naman sa equity swap, nag-i-issue tayo ng shares dito. So, yung creditor natin magiging shareholder natin. Okay? So, yung ini-issue na shares, yan yung pambayad sa utang. So, that's what you call equity swap. How do we compute for the gain or loss on debt restructuring under equity swap? So that is equal to the difference between the CV of the liability and the valuation of the shares issued. Okay? Yung carrying amount ng liability dito, this is still equal to your principal plus accrued interest. Okay? Ganun pa rin. Tulad lang din siya sa asset swap. Now, what about the valuation of shares issued? Saan tayo magre-refer para malaman kung ano yung appropriate valuation ng shares issued? So, we will refer to IFRIC 19. Ang sabi ni IFRIC 19, para malaman natin kung ano yung appropriate valuation ng shares issued in connection with your equity swap, nag-provide po siya ng order of priority. So ano ang laman ng order of priority na to? Number 1, fair value of the shares issued. So sabi niya, if the fair value of the shares issued is available, gamitin mo na agad. Siya yung pinaka mataas or siya yung first sa priority. Okay? Siya yung may highest in priority. Okay? Now, in case the fair value of the shares is not available, bababa tayo sa pangalawa, and that is the fair value of the liability. Okay? So, pag hindi available ang fair value ng shares, bababa ka kay fair value ng liability. Okay? Then, pag hindi pa rin available yung fair value ng liability natin, bababa tayo sa least priority, and that is the CV or the carrying value of the liability. So yan ang magiging basis natin for the valuation of shares issued. Okay? Last one. How do we determine whether there will be a gain or a loss? So, yung indicator natin dito, class, is quite similar to your asset swap. Magkakaroon po tayo ng gain pag mas mataas yung CV ng liability kesa sa valuation ng shares. Okay? Kasi, imagine ninyo, utang mo 100, pero ang fair value ng shares mo 80 pesos lang. It is as if nagbayad ka ng pera worth 80 pesos. Nagbayad ka lang ng 80 pero na settle mo agad yung utang mong 100 pesos. Ayos? Okay. Next. Magkakaroon ka dito ng loss kapag kabaliktaran yung nangyari, or the CV of liability is less than the valuation of shares issued. Okay? Then, ulitin natin. Ang pinakamalapit sa realidad dito ay magre-result pa rin sa gain yung debt restructuring natin. No? Ito yung pinakamalapit sa realidad. Naka-gain siya. Right? Kasi kung iisipin mo naman talaga, sino ang gustong matalo rito? Di ba? Kung ikaw ang borrower, gusto mo ba matalo? Kaya ka nga pumapasok sa debt restructuring because you are looking for favorable options. Klaro? Okay? So palaging tatandaan mo, ang perspective na tinitignan natin dito ay kay borrower or kay debtor. Okay? Sige. Yan. So yan ang concept natin for your equity swap. Apply natin yan dito sa illustrative case for equity swap. So Funko Company has the following data with respect to a matured obligation. So meron pala siyang note payable na may principal na 5 million together with the accrued interest of 500,000. Now, the company entered into an agreement with the creditor for the issuance of share capital in full settlement of the note. The agreement provided for the issuance of 35,000 shares with par value of 100 pesos. The share is currently quoted at 130 a share. The fair value of the note on the date of restructuring is 4.7. So across the three requirements, ang tinatanong palagi, how much is the gain on extinguishment? Di ba? Yun nga lang, paiba-iba yung scenario. For number one, that's the original question. Then for number two, assuming the shares do not have fair value, magkano daw yung gain on debt extinguishment? Then pagdating sa number 3, what if both the fair values of the shares and your liability are not available? How much is the gain on debt extinguishment? Alright? So sagutan natin yan. Sagutan natin yan gamit itong table na to. Okay? Ay, ba't may number 4 dito? Paki-ignore na lang yan. Total, tatlo lang naman yung ating questions. Okay? Sige. So, to determine the answer for each item, you will simply compare the CV of the liability and the appropriate valuation of the shares. Okay? Across the three cases or across the three items, your CV of liability is simply equal to the sum of the note payable and its accrued interest. So yan agad yung CV mo, which is 5.5 million. So lalagay na natin yan agad across the three items. So the CV of liability is 5.5 million. Magkakatalo na lang tayo sa appropriate valuation ng shares. Okay? For number 1, available ba yung highest priority doon sa order of priority list natin kanina? Answer, yes. Because, ano ba yung highest priority? Yung fair value ng shares issued. Di ba meron siyang quoted price na 130 per share? So that's already the fair value of the shares issued. So for number 1, the valuation of the shares will be 35,000 times 130. So we have here 4.55 million. Okay? Utang mo 5.5 million. Pero yung fair value ng shares mo 4.55 million lang. So, panalo, talo. Answer, panalo. Kasi bibigyan mo lang siya ng shares worth 4.55 million, then settled na yung utang mong 5.5 million. So how much is the gain on debt restructuring? That will be 950,000. So for number 1, sagot natin 950,000. Okay? Next. If the shares do not have fair value, what amount should be recognized as gain from extinguishment of debt? So, wala daw yung number 1. So, bababa tayo sa number 2. Ano yung number 2? The fair value of the liability. Given ba sa problem yung fair value ng note? Yes, that is 4.7 million. So, for number 2, gagamitan mo na agad siya ng fair value ng liability natin. Okay? So since the valuation of the shares is still below the CV of the liability, then there is still gain. No? Panalo ka pa rin dito. Magkano ang gain mo? That is 800,000. So for number 2, ang sagot natin 800,000 naman. Okay? Then for number 3, if both the shares and the note do not have fair value, what amount should be recognized as gain from extinguishment? Wala na daw yung fair value ng shares at ng liability. Therefore, ano yung least priority natin sa listahan kanina? It's the CV of liability. So you will value the shares here equal to the CV of the liability or 5.5 million. So for number 3, meron ba tayong gain? Answer, wala. So ang sagot sa number 3, 0. Nagkakaintindihan? Yan. So kapag yung CV ng liability at yung valuation ng shares ay pareho, wala kang gain or loss on debt restructuring. Okay? Sige. So, sir, paano natin ito i-journalize? Okay. So, to journalize the extinguishment of the debt, we debit note payable. So, that's 5 million. Debit accrued interest, 500,000. Next. Paano tayo nag-journalize ng mga share issuance transactions? So, di ba, ito yung shareholders' equity natin. We credit ordinary share capital. So, credit ordinary share capital. Kaso, paano ba natin binavalue ang mga share capital accounts? Equal to what? Equal to par value. Okay? So, magkano yung par value neto? 100 per share. So the amount to be credited to your ordinary share capital will be 35,000 times 100. So meron tayong 3.5 million na share capital. Okay? Next, magkano ba yung valuation ng shares natin sa number 1? 4.55 million, right? So, Anong tawag natin doon sa difference between the valuation of the shares and its par value? That is share premium. So, pag equity swap, nagre-recognize tayo ng share premium. So, magkano share premium natin? That would be 1.05 million. Bale, tinanggal lang natin yung total par value from the valuation of the shares dito. Okay? Then, credit gain on debt extinguishment worth 950,000. Kakaintindihan? Yan. So, that's for number 1. Okay? Next. Number 2. Ano journal entry? Yung debits natin, pare-pareho lang yan. Debit mo pa rin yung note payable, debit mo pa rin yung accrued interest, credit mo pa rin yung ordinary share capital. Magkakaroon lang ng kaibahan pagdating sa share premium at sa gain natin, no? So in this case, magkano yung valuation ng shares? 4.7 million. Oh, pakitanggal lang yung total par natin diyan para ma-compute natin yung share premium. So that would be 1.2 million. Then credit gain on debt extinguishment 800,000. Okay? So that's number 2. Then for number 3, the last one, debit note payable 5 million, debit accrued interest 500,000, credit ordinary share capital 3.5 million, credit ano pa? Share premium. Kasi ang valuation ng shares natin 5.5 million pero ang par value niya lang is 3.5 million. Tama? So magkano ang ating share premium? That is 2 million. May gain? Wala. Di ba? Walang gain on debt extinguishment dito. So yan na agad yung journal entry mo sa number 3. Ayos? So that's your equity swap. Okay? So that's the second mode of debt restructuring. Okay? Now, let's move on to the last mode of debt restructuring, and that is your modification of terms. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng modification of terms? This mode involves changes in the terms of the liability. So, ano ba mga typical examples natin dito? It's either i-extend mo yung maturity date, pabababain mo yung interest rate, ipapababa mo yung principal amount, di ba? Or any other similar changes in the terms of the liability. That is your modification of terms. Now, for accounting purposes, we have two types of modification. That is substantial and non-substantial. So how do we determine if the modification is substantial or not? So sabi ni IFRS 9, a modification is considered to be substantial if the gain or loss on modification is at least 10% of the carrying value of the old liability. So yung threshold natin dito, class, is 10% of the CV of the old liability. Okay? Then, non-substantial siya kapag less than 10% ng CV ng old liability. So palaging tatandaan nyo yung ating 10% threshold for the assessment of modification. Okay? Next. So ano naman kapag substantial yung modification or non-substantial? If the modification is substantial, the new liability will be measured equal to its present value using the prevailing market rate of interest. So bali yung new liability natin dito ay i-measure siya using the present value of the modified terms under the prevailing market rate of interest. So anong ibig niya sabihin dito? yung bago mong utang ay magiging equivalent na yan doon sa present value ng modified terms mo gamit yung prevailing market rate of interest or the prevailing market rate of interest as of the date of restructuring. Okay? Ano naman kapag non-substantial? Answer, the gain or loss on modification will be recognized as an adjustment only. Yan. Nakukuha? So ulitin natin, no? Kailangan ma-assess natin kung ang modification ay substantial or hindi. Kasi may impact ito sa magiging measurement ng utang. Di ba? So kapag yung modification natin substantial, our new liability will be measured equivalent to the present value of the modified terms using the market rate of interest as of the date of restructuring. On the other hand naman, ang non-substantial modification, that will result to an adjustment to the old liability. Okay? Yan. So yan ang ating concept for your modification of terms. Okay? Next. Sir, paano na determine yung gain or loss on modification? Okay. So, to determine the gain or loss on modification for purposes, take note, take note, for purposes of assessing whether the modification is substantial or not, then this will be your formula. Compare the CV of the liability to the present value of the modified terms discounted using the original effective interest rate. Okay? Yan. So, yan yung gain or loss on modification natin. Take note, ginagamit lang natin to in order for us to assess whether the modification is substantial or not. Okay? Now, saan natin i-divide ito, sir? Si gain or loss on modification. Bali, i-divide mo siya doon sa CV nung old liability natin or the CV of the liability being modified. Okay? Then, determine mo yung percentage. Okay? So, kapag ang percentage mo is more than or equal to 10%, then the modification is substantial. If your percentage is less than 10%, then the modification will be considered as non-substantial. Okay? Bakit ganito sulat ko? Teka. Sulat natin ulit. So this is non-substantial. Yan. Okay? Sige. So, ang palaging first step natin dito, class, is kukumputin nyo yung present value ng modified terms using the original rate muna. No? Tapos, from there, doon natin ma-assess kung substantial or non-substantial yung ating modification. Okay? Sige. So, apply na natin yan dito sa illustrative cases natin. By the way, dalawa yung illustrative cases natin kay modification, so this is the first illustrative case. So, due to adverse economic circumstances and poor management, Funko Company had negotiated a restructuring of a 9%, 14 million note payable to Pop Bank due on January 1, 2026. No accrued interest. Okay. So, ang CV ng liability natin is purely principal amount. Now, the bank reduced the principal obligation to 10 million. Aba, ang bait naman ng bangko. So, from the original 14 million principal, binaba niya na to 10 million. And, hindi lang yon, in-extend pa niya yung maturity to 3 years. Diba? So, instead na babayaran na ngayon, in-extend niya pa yung maturity date natin to 3 years after. Okay? The new interest rate is 13%, which is payable annually every December 31. The market rate of interest on January 1, 2026 is 10%. So, what is the present value of the note payable on January 1, 2026? And what is the gain on extinguishment of debt to be recognized for 2026? So ang first step natin dito, class, is compare the CV of the liability to the present value of the modified terms using the original effective interest rate. Yan. So yan muna ang kailangan nating i-determine. Alright? Sige. Oh, sabi natin, ang CV ng liability is purely principal. So that is already equal to 14 million. Okay? So yung present value na lang ng modified terms ang kailangan nating computein. Oh. So paki-compute muna to. So this is equal to present value of the new principal. Bali, magkano yung new principal natin, class? Di ba 10 million? So this will be 10 million times. So gagamit tayo ng present value factor. Bali, ano nga ulit ang gagamitin nating effective interest rate? That's the original one. Sir, alin dito ang original one? Answer? That is this one, 9%. That's the original EIR. Di ba? So usually ina-assume natin yung original EIR mo is your stated interest rate dito. Okay? For how many years? Yung extension period nating 3 years. No? So get the PV of 1 at 9% for 3 periods. So we have, pakiano lang for decimal places tayo. So this will be 0.7722. Sorry, wala na masyadong space, no? Yan. So, ang PV ng principal natin ay, magkano to? Nakulangan pala ako ng pagsulat, sorry. So, 7722. Yan. So, 10 million times 0.7722. So, you have 7,722,000. Okay? Next. Since the modified terms still involves periodic interest payments, isasali mo rin yung present value ng interest mo, no? So plus present value of periodic interest. So paano nako-compute to? That will be 10 million times your stated rate of 13%, right? Multiply it by the present value ordinary annuity using the 9% or the original effective rate. So ilan yon? That will be 2.5313. Tama ba? 5313. Okay? Oh, magkano to? So 10 million times 13% times 2.5313. We have 3,290, 690. Okay? Meron pa ba? Wala na. Okay. So, what's the present value of the modified terms using the original effective rate? So, add nyo lang yan. So, we have 11,012,690. Yan. So, this will be the present value of the modified terms. 11,012,690. Oh, get the difference. So meron tayong gain amounting to 2,987,310, right? Oh, divide nyo yan siya sa 14 million natin. So paki-divide siya ng 14 million. So what's our assessment? The percentage is 21% or more than the 10% threshold. So, dahil mas mataas siya sa 10% threshold, what's our assessment? Is the modification substantial or not? Answer, substantial. Okay? So, the modification is substantial for this case. So, dahil na-conclude nating substantial yung modification, then, in order for us to compute number 1, gagamitin na natin ang prevailing market rate of interest, which is the 10%. Okay? So kapag substantial na siya, doon mo gagamitin yung prevailing market rate of interest natin. Okay? So paano natin kukumputin yan, sir? In the same way, kung paano mo kinompute yung present value ng modified terms using the original rate kanina. Yun nga lang, hindi na 9% gagamitin mo but the 10%. Okay? Sige. So, to answer number 1, compute the PV of principal. So, ito gamit na yung 10%, ha? So, this will be 10 million times PV of 1 at 10% for 3 periods. So, that's 0.7513. So, magkano to? 7,513,000 plus present value of interest. So this will be 10 million times 13% times, ay napindot ko tuloy, 2.4869. So this is your present value of ordinary annuity. So magkano to? 3,232,970. Okay? So to answer number 1, i-add nyo lang yung dalawang yan. So magkano? We have 10,745,970. So 10,745,970 ang sagot natin for number 1. Ayos? Ayun. So matrabaho lang siya, guys, no? Kasi gagawin mo ulit yung ginawa mo sa pag-compute ng present value ng modified terms. But this time ang gamit is the prevailing one. Okay? Yan. O sige. So burahin ko na yung assessment natin kanina. Yan. So to answer number 2, what is the gain on extinguishment of debt? So compare the CV of liability together with the present value of the modified terms using your prevailing effective interest rate. No? Prevailing. Okay? Oh. Magkano CV ng layab? 14 million. How much is the present value of the modified terms using the prevailing EIR? So yan yung sagot mo sa number 1. 10,745,970. So dahil mas mataas yung CV ng liability, we have a gain on extinguishment amounting to 3,254,030. Yan. So for number 2, ang sagot natin is 3,254,030. Okay? So that's for the first illustrative case of modification of terms. Oh, last. On January 1, 2027, Funko Company had an overdue 10% note payable to Pop Bank at 16 million and accrued interest of 1.6 million. As a result of a restructuring of agreement on January 1, 2027, the bank agreed to the following provisions. So these are the modifications, right? Oh. So principal obligation is reduced to 15 million. Accrued interest is forgiven. So meaning hindi niya na ipapabayad yung accrued interest. The date of maturity is extended to December 31, 2030. Oh, from the date of restructuring, how many periods pa yan? So that is 27, 28, 29, 30. So we have 4 periods na in-extend. Okay? Then there is an annual interest rate of 12% which is to be paid every December 31. So ito, every yan. Nakulangan lang ng letter E. Okay? So ganun pa rin yung tanong. What is the PV of the note payable on January 1 and how much is the gain on extinguishment for 2027? Okay? So ganun ulit gagawin natin. Kung ano yung first step na ginawa natin sa previous illustrative case, gagawin po siya natin ulit dito sa second. Kasi kailangan natin muna ma-assess kung ang modification ay substantial or not. Okay? Oh. So compare natin to. CV of the liability versus the present value of modified terms using original effective interest rate. O, magkano CV ng liability natin? That is 16 million plus 1.6 million. So that is 17.6 million. Okay? Next. For the present value of modified terms using original EIR, so computein natin siya dito na lang sa baba para may space. What are the modifications? Principal obligation reduced to 15 million. So, compute the PV of the new principal using your original effective rate, which is how much? 10%. So, 4 periods, So, that will be 0.6830. 4 decimal place pa rin po. Then, meron ba tayong involved na annual or periodic interest? Yes, there is an annual interest of 12%. So, magiging 15 million times 12% times. Compute the PV ordinary annuity. 3.1699. Magkano yan? 10, 2, 4, 5,000. Magkano yung present value? So 15, 950, 820. Yan. So 15, 950, 820. Okay? Get the difference. So we have 1,649,180. Divide nyo siya dito sa 17.6 million natin. What's the percentage? 9.37. So since that is less than 10%, so meaning less than 10% pala yung percentage, right? So this is non-substantial. So the modification for the second illustrative case is non-substantial. Therefore, how do we answer the two requirements? Answer, kung ano yung na-compute nyo ngayon, yan na agad yung sagot mo. Ay, ganun lang yun, sir, pag non-substantial. Yes. Gamit mo pa rin yung original effective rate mo. Okay? So, what's the answer for number 1? Answer, that is 15,950,820. Okay? Then for number 2, what is the gain on extinguishment? Answer, 1,649,180. Yan na yun agad. Okay? So nakita nyo yung pagkakaiba ng substantial and non-substantial modifications. So ganyan yung application niya. Okay? So that's it class, no? Hanggang dyan lang yung discussion ng debt restructuring. So thank you for listening. Bye-bye!